family of Families Together that can not only acknowledge that we as families and young people have struggled, but also that we've come out ahead, that we're doing this, and take some credit for what we've accomplished and how much more we can accomplish. I want to say thank you to all our awardees, every one of you who's on this thing today and who's been, towing the line throughout this year. Please take a moment to appreciate yourselves, your kids, your parents, all of the people that are listed here in this chat. Next, we're going to have Brad Hansen, who's our Director of Public Policy. Brad can take a lot of credit for this event. Brad, along with Zach Kilmer, who is also in our Public Policy Department, have worked really hard to make this event possible, and including this policy agenda that he's going to go over. So Brad, can you take it away?
Absolutely, and thank you everybody for acknowledging all the incredible people who have made this past year just a little bit more bearable. Really inspired by the acts of humanity we've seen in this past year. It gives me hope in a time where it's kind of hard to be hopeful, but all that energy we've poured into this policy agenda this year. We want to make sure that we're doing right by the families, young people, and community that is fighting hard to stay alive and to thrive. So let's get into it. As we talk about our policy agenda, you should all know that families and young people and allies in the field have played a huge role in shaping this. We had set priorities going into this year back in March, and we've added a whole bunch more to help address some of the crises caused by COVID. And so let's just get back to where we were back in March. Prior to COVID, we were already in multiple crises, talking about a pandemic of childhood trauma, mental health in adolescence, and addiction. We know that exposure to childhood traumas, known as adverse childhood experiences, can lead to poor health and socioeconomic outcomes later in life. That's ACEs. We know that the prevalence of childhood trauma is greatest among children growing up in environments that lack the resources they need. And for years, advocates, including Families Together and Youth Power and others, have been sounding the alarm on what we describe as an ongoing public health crisis. That's the childhood trauma, and noting that this is a driving factor in increases in mental health and addiction. Now, on top of this, we are now experiencing COVID-19 and the subsequent economic recession. And it's really beyond our imagination at that point that this situation could become even more dire. Yet here we are. There's an unprecedented historical moment of gross racial and social inequity, this ongoing health crisis and economic crisis. And on top of that, we are, as state funding, pulling back from the systems, the services that we need the most to maintain resilience as we navigate this crisis as a society. Before COVID-19, we were already seeing, especially among young people, increases in mental health emergencies, suicide, increased by 30% among students, and is now the leading cause of death among adolescents, and third among younger children. These are alarming statistics. This is before COVID. And today the crisis has only deepened. While the state is weighing cutting services as much as 20% or 5% if we're able to get a certain amount of aid from the federal government, the upward trajectory of behavioral health issues is at an all-time high. 4,200 children in New York State have lost their parents to COVID, and 325,000 have entered poverty, with Black and Hispanic children experiencing loss at twice the rate of Asian and white children. Medicaid enrollment has gone up by tens of thousands in New York alone. people reporting increased depressive episodes and experiencing anxiety. And just across the board, drug deaths are going up, I think, as a result of the added stress that families and young people and people in recovery are under. All these things have increased in their severity due to COVID. So the implications are widespread. The consequences are widespread. Every single system that Families Together works on has been impacted. Mental health, addiction, education, developmental disabilities, child welfare. It doesn't take much imagination to know that, to understand that how these different issues intersect.
I'm busy.
Hey, everybody, just make sure that you're on mute. Our families and children are under tremendous burdens and have already endured the most hardship before and now during this crisis. They should not suffer additional devastating effects of losing services that are lifelines for their health and well-being. Anything short, and this is the main message that we want to be carrying this week, but also this whole session, is anything short of bold investments in services that help families and children during this crisis are unconscionable. But cutting these services is simply unforgivable. So we want to give you something to focus on. You know, this point in time, this moment in our timeline, we are focused on budget issues. The budget is due April 1st. Though to be clear, we've been having an ongoing budget session. These are abnormal times since March, as the governor has extraordinary emergency powers to react to changes in our revenue and resource availability. So, you know, the stakes are very high this year. We're looking at pushing to restore the cuts that have been proposed. You know, if $6 billion comes into New York State to help for state and local aid from the federal government for COVID relief, we're still looking at 5% cuts to local aid for all the systems that we care about, and we have to fight back. In addition to that, in order to gain some savings, OMH and OCFS have proposed closing, consolidating, or downsizing residential psychiatric beds and OCFS juvenile justice facilities, but they are choosing to capture that savings to sort of plug budget holes, and all that is going to go back to the general fund. For OMH, that is, you know, we have a long-standing commitment in statute and in legislation that money gets reinvested. For every closed bed, that money is reinvested into community-based programming, and they are suspending that this year in order to make up for budget shortfalls. That is simply unacceptable. We absolutely need that funding in the community, and that's true for OCFS facilities as well. Lastly, you know, there's new funding streams, whether that be federal block grant increases. They've doubled federal block grant increases from the federal government to the states as part of the federal COVID relief package that was passed in December. There's marijuana revenue. There's new tax increases on the wealthiest New Yorkers, and there's also opioid settlement funding. All of this, a huge portion of this should go into investments in programming for children and families. And let's get into what those investments should look like. You know, as I mentioned, last year's stimulus package nearly doubled the federal mental health and substance use block grants. More than 25% of that one-time increase should go toward children and families. How can we spend that money? We can establish a COVID and opioid child victim care coordination program to respond, you know, to things and supports that families need that are not related that aren't billable, non-Medicaid billable services, things that wrap around the family, get them the things they need in crisis. There should be expanded emergency and crisis response designed for youth and families. You know, they're talking about expanding crisis stabilization. That's absolutely a good idea, but we need funding to back it up. And we need youth peer advocates and family peer advocates as part of mobile crisis So expanding funding for those services so that those key engagement specialists, youth peer advocates and family peer advocates, are a part of those teams. We want to add to the existing effective community-based services and supports that are out there, build upon those. You know, we're talking about things like family peer support, children and family treatment and support services, you know, extra funding to help those things could go a long way. And lastly, we need to meet children where they're at. And that means expanding upon things like school-based mental health clinics, community schools, and things that are not that are not billable, but are part of making sure that social and emotional learning and needs are being met in the school. When it comes to recurring state revenue for marijuana, taxes on income earners, and opiate settlement funding should all be invested, again, into families. There are existing evidence-based programmings that exist in New York State that are being practiced but are underutilized. And this funding could go towards making sure that they're available anywhere across the state. We want to establish revolving startup grant programs for school-based satellite clinics to support the anticipated increase in need as we navigate COVID, but then afterward. And so we should be using that to expand our existing capacity for school-based mental health. So that covers, I think, the budget aspects. You know, all this will be available on our website under policy and advocacy. You can check out our policy agenda there. And I'm just going to go over a few of the quick bullets here that are non-budget related, or I didn't cover here, you know, things like telehealth reform. That was included in the budget, but there's big question marks for things like peers. Are family peer advocates and youth peer advocates going to be able to bill services, telehealth services? And is there going to be rate parity between audio, video, or in person? We should be picking favorites. It's really all about family and consumer choice. And if we have different rates for in-person versus audio just by phone, that could create adverse incentives to not offer the full breadth, so everybody can meet the needs where they're at and kind of get treatment on their own terms. We've already covered school-based mental health, so I won't cover that now, but things like increasing contracts and rates for the human services sector, big campaign called 3 for 5 years, 3 for 5. And we also, you know, thanking and acknowledging the incredible work that the behavioral health workforce, the human services workforce is doing is one thing, but we should also acknowledge that, you know, they need a pay raise, long overdue, and so we're pushing for a 3% cost of living adjustment for that workforce. And lastly, a huge access issue that we hope to address. People who maybe don't qualify for Medicaid do qualify for programs like Child Health Plus. Children's services should be available. Oh boy, my cat. I think everyone can relate. Things like children family treatment and support services, family peer support, youth peer support, and others should be available to families that are using CHIP. Now let's take a pause there. I want to acknowledge our team leader for the breakout sessions that's coming later. Tiara Springer Love, please unmute yourself and say hi to the folks.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tiara Springer Love. I am the Youth Power Director over here at Families Together, and I will be your team leader for children's mental health and addiction. So thank you guys for coming, and I cannot wait to prepare these questions.
Thanks, Tiara. Tiara is an incredible advocate. You guys are all in good hands. Moving forward, you know, you may remember, and this is one of the issues that I got to sink my teeth into 7 years ago as an intern at Families Together. Raise the Age was a huge part of our advocacy in the past 7 years, a huge part of our portfolio, and one of those big sweeping changes we like to throw our weight behind, and has so far proven to be very successful. But we want to build on that. We want looking long-term, we want a system that is restorative in nature, which emphasizes developmentally appropriate approaches to holding young people accountable. We're not talking about giving we're not talking about pure leniency. We're talking about how do we hold people accountable while also offering them support so that they can have what they need to change. And so we have a great lineup of issues we're working on. We're talking about things that fell off the table as part of the original Raise the Age package. Things like stopping the criminalization of childhood by ending arrest and prosecution of children under the age of 12. New York currently arrests and prosecutes children as young as 7 years old. And we're one of the few states that does that. And so we're talking about boosting the age for juvenile delinquency jurisdiction to 12. And this relates very much to an incident that happened in Rochester. A young girl, 9 years old, not even under arrest, was pepper sprayed by police. So we have joined, we believe that that child shouldn't have interacted with police. That shouldn't have been the appropriate person for the family to call. And so, and also that the police shouldn't have been allowed to pepper spray that child, because as she reminded all of us, she was a child. And so we're standing up with Senator Brooke from Rochester has introduced the bill that's gaining a lot of traction now that would prohibit the use of chemical agents against minors. And then we're looking forward to things like Daniel's Law to establish state and regional councils and response units for mental health emergencies that do not rely on police. That's a huge factor here. We know lots of parents and young people working on the Raise the Age campaign that will tell you they very much so fear these interactions while their young person is in crisis. Stepping back and looking ahead to when young people have already been involved in the courts, brain science shows very clearly that children up to age 25 or young people up to age 25 are still developing. Their prefrontal cortex is still developing. And so there should be options among the courts to make sure that young people are able to seal their records so that they can move on with their lives, get employment, housing, education. All these things we know are crucial to rehabilitation. And that should be available 5 years after. We're also talking about reinvesting funding. We mentioned that earlier. Sure, it's a good thing to close facilities. Young people typically don't get better in these facilities, but what are we doing to invest to make sure that young people don't get to that level and that when they leave these facilities, they get what they need in the community. And so that's why we're calling for reinvestment of juvenile justice facility closures. We need to reinvest that money back into the community. And so on that, I wish I had someone different to introduce, but it's going to be me for the breakout sessions. I'm Brad Hansen, I'm the public policy director. I do have some experience getting in trouble as a young person, but so will several of the ambassadors that we have and families who have navigated those systems on behalf of their children. We're really excited for breakout session later and also the town hall. All right, moving along, let's get into child welfare. Families together, we believe we are a big tent. And so there's many different players and perspectives when it comes to foster care, child welfare, and the family court system. But in all circumstances, we should be creating a family-first system that recognizes the value of keeping families together when possible and ensures that when necessary, children are placed with well-supported relatives or foster families. Now, a huge obstacle to a lot of the advancements that the state has made on this front, keeping families together, keeping children in family-based placements whenever possible, is these huge cuts we're seeing across the board. 5% cuts to prevention, foster care, kinship services, informal and non-formal, and adoption funding streams. These are huge obstacles to doing, there's a long way of saying children should not grow up in group homes. And so avoiding that outcome is a huge part, and we should be trying to keep families together. How do we do that? Well, we don't do it by cutting primary prevention and cutting preventive services. We do so by investing in it. And so we want to expand the availability of primary prevention that doesn't involve having a parent be imminently about to enter foster care. We want them to get services beforehand in the community, no strings attached. We want high quality parental legal representation. We want accountability in state government through an ombudsman. And we want to make sure that when a parent is under CPS investigation, they know their rights. And that's why we're including a Miranda Bill of Rights as part of our priorities this year. We also want to make sure that family-based care and congregate care, when we stop using those things, that money goes back and follows the child in the life of the case to support the optimal placement, which is with their family or with relatives or foster families when that's not possible. And so our entire agenda when it comes to child welfare is based on those principles. And I'm going to stop there. Feel free to look up some more of the specifics on our policy priorities website. And I want to introduce Daphne Brown. Daphne?
Oh, sorry guys. Good morning. I'm Daphne Brown. I'm the Director of Family Involvement and Outreach, and I will be partnering with you guys to create questions for the Child Welfare Town Hall with OCFS representatives and the legislators. I look forward to working with you this afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you. So moving on to the last segment of our policy agenda before we move into breakout sessions, and we spoke to this a little bit earlier, but this is, our agenda on education is all about promoting safe and supportive schools. We want to end the school to prison pipeline and ensure that schools are safe and supportive environments for all students. A huge part of achieving that is passing, and this is incorrect, but it is now passing the Solutions Not Suspensions Act. And what this act does is require school districts to update their code of conducts and school disciplinary practices to include restorative practice, restorative justice, and alternatives to suspension. It also limits how long a student can be suspended from 180 days to simply a few weeks, and also limits what age a young person can be suspended, starting at grade 3. This is a very important piece of that. And because we don't believe in just passing laws and kind of, top-down forcing approaches, we also believe in expanding funding and programming to expand alternative discipline in school, and also expanding mental health programming in school, which is something we talked about earlier. A huge part of social emotional learning is cultivating school climate. And so the School Mental Health Resource Training, which I'm sure many of you are familiar, run by the Mental Health Association of New York State, is a huge resource for schools. We should continue to support that and even expand it. And then lastly, we want to make sure that young people, especially those with developmental disabilities or have English as a second language, have multiple pathways to a high school diploma beyond high stakes testing. We're one of the few states in the country that ties graduation to passing 5 high stakes exams known as Regents exams. And this is shown to be detrimental to our graduation rates. And so we want everyone to have a fair shot at a standard diploma. And to pass it off to our team leader on education, I want to introduce Lorie Rivera. Go ahead, Lorie, unmute yourself and say hi.
Hi, I'm Lorie Rivera. Ooh, oh no, what happened?
You're still on.
Okay. Hi there, I'm Lorie Rivera, and I have lived experience with the special education system, advocating for my children. And I have professional experience as a parent partner in the Albany City School District. I am looking forward to leading the special education session, and I do believe schools should and can be safe and supportive.
Thanks, Lorie. So that concludes our policy priority overview. I'm going to pass it back to Paige, who will give you some remarks before we move into the breakout sessions.
Thanks so much, Brad. That's great. I've been trying to keep up with the chats, and there are several that I didn't get a chance to answer. And I'm wondering, there are questions that people had regarding, can they sign up for town hall? Some of it got answered by staff. Is there anybody whose can Brad or Zach or Courtney, can one of you guys look at the list of chats and see if there are any questions that still haven't been answered? One of the questions is, can they have a copy of these slides? And the answer is yes, correct? Our policy agenda, which Brad just went over, is the slides are all on our website as part of the policy agenda in our public policy section of our website. But are there any other slides that are on here that aren't available on the website, Brad or Zach?
The slides aren't, but we can send them to everybody who's registered after
Thank you.
after our call today.
There are people that had, Cameron saying there will be a live recording. Sorry, I just lost that. Available too. And on our Facebook and YouTube pages. The links to the town hall, somebody, Courtney put a link to the town halls this week, can be found, and she put the link on the chat. Are there any other questions that didn't get answered in the chat?
So I'll make a note for folks. I think I saw just one other one. All of the links to the town halls are available on the website under Family Empowerment Week. Those are the general links. Everyone can join, even if you signed up for, say, mental health and addiction, you can still join the other days. So that's pretty easy to switch up. The breakout session, Zach is going to try to be responsive if you want to attend a different one, but all those are available and we encourage everybody to join.
Hey, it's Tiara. Paige, there was one question that was asked when Brad was going over the policy agenda in regards to child welfare. And the question is, are we discussing how funding for foster care should go into community organizations that can keep families together, specific to when you were presenting, Brad?
Yeah, and I answered that a little bit, and the answer is yes. I mean, and Brad talked about this too in his remarks. That's a big part of our agenda is, Brad, do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
No, I think you covered it. I mean, I'll just reiterate, yeah, that when we're talking about bringing funding for things like congregate care from, these are facilities that charge $800 a day in some instances to hold our children. That money should be reinvested upstream into primary prevention services, things like community-based supports, community-based organizations and programming that meet people where they're at, hopefully before they're in crisis or under investigation in the CPS system. So we absolutely agree with that, Jeanette. And we hope you bring that up as part of the planning session today.
Yes. And Courtney's answering Joe's question. Will be placed in a breakout session based on how you registered for the event. Yeah, did Kim Kaiser wasn't introduced at the beginning when we were talking about the.
Oops, I was supposed to do that as part of the mental health section, so I'll do that now. Kim Kaiser, our media savvy and community organizer, parent advisor, please introduce yourself.
You just did. No, sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Kim Kaiser. I'm a parent advisor for Families Together in New York State, and I am a community organizer, and I do a lot of stuff, mostly involving developmental disabilities and mental health. I'm the parent of a child on the spectrum, and also the foster parent of a child on the spectrum. And I really do look forward to meeting with all of you so that we can craft our questions and be very impactful at our town hall tomorrow.
So Kim will be leading the town hall for the developmental disabilities. Thanks, Kim. Were there any other questions in the chat that didn't get answered? And in the breakout sessions also, you guys will be going over who the legislators and commissioners are that will be in your group. So you'll see, because I wasn't sure if the question was about who's the chair of developmental disabilities. I see now that you were asking about Kim, but I read it as who's the chair in the Senate and the Assembly, because we have a new committee in both the Senate and the Assembly for developmental disabilities. It used to be part of mental hygiene, or mental health and developmental disabilities were all part of one committee, and they broke it out so that they could have enough committees for every senator to have a chairmanship. So you guys will talk about that a little bit in your breakout sessions, the different legislators and commissioners that you can be expecting to be meeting on the rest on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. One of the things that we didn't, maybe the committee talked about this, I didn't know about, but when we're doing the town hall meetings, only certain people will be unmuted. The people who have been that have been determined to be the speakers, and then and asking their questions. But people will still be able to do the chat box. So I would encourage you in the breakout sessions today to talk to your leader about how that'll work and how people can pipe in via chat, but do it in a respectful way so we don't get bombarded with, or the legislators and the commissioner don't get bombarded with questions where they can't address the verbal questions that have been scheduled to be asked.
Paige, there's just one more. Joe Damiano wants to know how he will know who the team leaders are and the ambassadors are. And I'm assuming, Joe, that means at the breakout session today?
I'll jump in because I'm talking to Joe right now.
Okay.
Okay, great. And Zach is going to be, whichever breakout session you signed up for is what you'll be put into that by our technology wizard, Zach. So let's go over just quickly. The breakout sessions should last about 40 minutes or less. Your team leaders all know what to do, and you'll get put into those. And then you guys can chat with each other about the questions. There are people who've signed up already to be ambassadors, and those people are the ones who are going to be asking the actual questions at the town halls. But it's an opportunity for everybody to weigh in on how the questions get answered or questions get asked, and making sure that you have covered all of the questions that you want for. And we're specifically looking to have the legislators and commissioners address our group about the topics that we just went over, that Brad just went over. If we spread out too far into other issues that are not related to our policy agenda, it can confuse the legislators or the commissioners because they're not sure what it is that they're supposed to be answering and how they're supposed to be addressing families together as an organization overall. So I look forward to everybody having an opportunity to be part of the town halls, and especially thank you to the team leaders and to the ambassadors who have agreed to speak. And now it's time for us to break off into the smaller groups and get ready to organize. I want to thank everybody. We won't be coming back together as a large group. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for participating in this, making sure that your voices get heard, making sure that all of our families and young people's voices get heard that don't normally get an opportunity. This is our real opportunity. One other thing I want to say about the town halls is if you didn't sign up to be an ambassador and you're not going to have the opportunity to ask a question in the town hall, your team leader will talk to you about this in the breakout sessions, but just know that there are lots of opportunities throughout the year to be working on policy advocacy. So this Zoom stuff has made it possible for us to get more meetings with legislators and their staffers than we ever have before, because they can take 15 minutes out of their day. It's via Zoom. We can have people from all over their district coming together on a Zoom call to meet with them. And they do want to meet with you because you are the voters, you are the constituents that they answer to. So beyond this week, there's going to be lots of opportunities and we will help organize meetings with legislators who are on committees that are affecting our families. And we can help organize family members and young people who want to participate in those meetings with their legislators. So this is only the beginning of the process. And so look forward to having an opportunity to have your voices heard in your region as well, or in your legislative districts. So one of the things I didn't do that we always do at Family Empowerment Day is just to recognize how statewide we are. And because we aren't in a big room where I can see your faces, it's hard to know where everybody is from. But I just want to say that we know that we have people that are registered that are on today's call from every corner of the state, from Long Island to Buffalo to Plattsburgh to Binghamton, just everywhere across this state. We have people that are represented here today and that are going to be speaking to their legislators either throughout this week or throughout this legislative session, which goes till June. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Here I see a lot of people working in on the chat about what region they're from. Because for those of you who've been to our events, you know that we usually call out and ask people who's here from, the North Country, who's here from the Western region of the state, who's here from Long Island. And we always end with who's here from New York City, because that's the loudest group. You are half the population of the state is from the 5 boroughs. So we welcome you all, and we're so happy that you all attended today. And I look forward to seeing you all at the town halls and in the breakout sessions. I'm going to be in different ones throughout this afternoon or right now, and then we'll be in every town hall. Thank you, everybody, for participating and for joining the breakout sessions that are starting right now. And then turn over to Zach to break us out. Is that how it will go?
Hi, everyone. This is Zach Hilmer. So I have sorted mostly everyone into their breakout rooms. There's going to be a few of you left over in the main room. That's because either I couldn't find your information in the registry or I just haven't gotten to it. So after everyone breaks out, if you could do me a favor and type which town hall you were either signed up to or just want to go to in chat, I will start to put everyone else in. But we're going to start breaking out right now.
So wait, Zach, so the people who are going to write that in the chat are just the people who are left, haven't been put into a breakout session, right?
Yes, many of you
So
will.
just give you a minute to do that, and then we'll type in if we are still left in the big room.
Yeah, if you're already in a breakout room, you'll know it.
Thanks.
All right, gonna do that in 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone. Yeah. So as some people are starting to disappear, those of you who are left over, I just didn't manage to get to you yet. It took me a little bit longer to sort. So if you want to just type in the chat where you either signed up to or want to go, I will put you there. So just give me a little bit of time and you should be getting an invitation and you'll be trickling in. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Just be patient with me. I'll get you to where you need to go momentarily. While we're waiting, actually, oh wait, no, never mind. I need the chat to be clear. Sorry again. Thank you for your patience. Health. you hear me muttering to myself, I apologize. Just working through this. Youth Justice. All right, we're getting through the names one by one. Daniel. Carrie.
Hi, I'm sorry. They put me in the mental health and substance abuse, but they said I was gonna join the child welfare team. Can you
Oh,
put me
that was probably me putting you in the wrong one. Apologize. You said which one you're going into?
the child welfare focus?
Child welfare. Give
Thank
me
you.
1 second. Okay, you should be in child welfare now. Okay, Suzanne. Child welfare. Well, almost there, guys. Sorry. Thanks for your patience. You're going to education. Mental health. DD or child welfare. We'll put you in DD. iPhone. Education. Put me wherever you can place me. I like your flexibility, Nancy. Thank you. Rogers. Okay, you're going to mental health. All right, the list is looking lower and lower, guys. We're really getting there now. Sue, also thank you for your flexibility. I'll put you in DD. Actually, I'll put you in youth justice because that's looking a little light right now. Terry, you're going to DD. Thank you. Kathy, yes, you're going to disabilities. Yes, awesome, cool. Here, Buffalo. Okay, mental health. Okay, I'm sifting through the chat, so the list is kind of short right now, so I apologize again. I'm going to go through your names alphabetically and just one at a time. If you could type for the remainder of you guys, if you could just type which one you want to go into. So the Anne Marie Knox, could you type which one you want to go into in the chat for me? Education or mental health, you got it. Becky Johnson, could you type where you want to go in the chat for me, please? Okay. Charles Sanchez, if you're here, if you could type in the chat where you want to go, please. Kevin. Okay, Denise, if you're here, if you could type in the chat for me, please. Denise, excellent, thank you. Mental health. Eileen, if you could type where you want to go in the chat for me, please. Mental health, perfect, thank you. Jashi, Jashe, if you could type in the chat where you want to go, please. Oh, and you want supposed to be a speaker. Please put me in the. Okay, well, one second, guys. Sorry. So and okay. Just sorry. I just have to do this one at a time. Mental health. Okay. 1 second. So Anne Marie, you wanted to go in youth justice, not education. Okay, I will fix that.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Just give me 1 second. Okay, you should be getting an invite for that now. One second. Okay, so Chance Kelly, are you here?
Yep.
Hi there. So for some reason your name is not coming up on the Zoom list. Are you the 914 number by chance?
No, I'm a 585 area code, but I don't know how it shows up on
Would you be going by a different name? So you're just not showing up on the list for some reason.
I may be showing up as NA for some reason.
Did I put you in another room before this one?
Yeah.
Oh, which room was that?
Educational justice.
Oh, okay, that's probably why. Let me see if I can find you. Oh, yeah.
That was
Okay,
me too.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so Chance, which one did you want to go to again?
The mental health and addiction.
Okay, you got it. You should receive the right one now.
Thank you.
Thanks again for everyone for being patient with me. I appreciate it. Okay, so Kaveen, you want to go to mental health and you were in DD. Let me fix that. Okay, you should be going to mental health now. Okay, Charles, mental health, there you go. Okay, Dorothy, where did you say I put you and then you wanted to go?
You put me in education justice and I'm in mental health.
Okay, let me fix that real quick. Thank you again for your patience. There,
Sure.
you should get
Thank
the
you.
invitation now. All right. It'll probably be easier to just verbally talk. Okay, so of who's left, did I assign? Well, actually, let me go through the list again. Becky, are you here? Okay, it doesn't sound like Becky's.
I'm here.
Oh, hey. Which room did you want to go into?
Just put me in something.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Leslie, are you here?
Yes, mental health, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Linda? Anyone is fine. Thank you for your flexibility. I appreciate it. Cool. Michelle?
The mental health.
Okay, I'm putting you in there now. Thank you. Mona? Mona, are you there? Okay, Ashley, did I put you in the correct room? Ashley? Okay, what about Carrie? Did I put you in the correct room?
Can you put me in child welfare, please?
Yeah, what room did I originally put you in?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me try and find you. Sorry, could you repeat that once more where you want to go?
Child welfare.
My welfare, you got it. All right, you should be getting an invitation. Hi, Anne Marie, did I put you in the wrong room again?
No, they told me, I asked them to clarify which one I should be in. They actually said mental health.
Oh, okay. We'll keep bouncing you until we find the wrong.
All right, thank
How
you.
about that? Which one did I just put you in?
I was just in youth justice.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, and they want you in mental health.
Yes.
You got it.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Bethany, are you there? Bethany? Okay, one last time. Mona. Mona, are you there? Okay, and I have on here a 914 number. It's a phone number. Are you here? Okay, to anyone in this room who hasn't been assigned, I'll just give y'all a minute. If you can hear me, just let me know. Hey, Karen. You're muted.
I'm leaving you because I
Oh,
have
okay.
meetings. I thought I was leaving you.
Well, you just went into the general room, so if you exit now, you should be fine.
Okay. How do I do that? Why it's not
Just
doing
close
that?
all of just close all of Zoom. Okay. Hey, Colleen, did you get
Hi.
bounced
I'm
back to this room?
sorry. I was in a room and my internet. I lost my internet.
Oh,
and
which
I
room?
don't know how to get back in. It was with
What-
Daphne.
That's the child welfare one. I'll put you.
Yes. Sorry.
It's no problem. And there you go. All right. Well, one last call for everyone in here. That's Ashley, Mona, Bethany, and the 914 number. I'm going to start going to the other room, so I'm not going to be able to sort you after that. So I'm going to give you guys a minute again. Please let me know if you guys want to be sorted.
Hi, this is Bethany. You can add me, if you could, to the child welfare.
You got it.
Thank you.
Okay, and Mona, Ashley, and the 914 number here.
I'll do education, sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'm glad you're with us. Let me throw you in there, and you should be good.
Thanks.
Hi, Janie. Thank you for joining us. We're in the breakout rooms right now. I don't know if you signed up, but I can put you in one of the 5, whichever one is up to you.
Okay, anyone would be fine.
Okay. I will put you in one where we have less people. Youth Justice. There you go.
Okay.
Jeanette. So. Oh, I'm sorry, Bethany. I was working on something else. I just saw your message. I will add you to the mental health one now.
Thank you.
Which breakout room were you just in?
I was in child welfare.
Okay, got it. You should have just received an invitation to move to the mental health one.
I don't see anything. Marie.
I'll try again. 1 second.
All right.
It says you're in the mental health one. Let me think. The only thing I can think to do is if you could like leave the Zoom call and then rejoin, I might be able
Okay.
to try again.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Bethany, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to try to put you in again.
All right. Thank you.
You should have just received an invitation or a notification of some sort. There we go.
Are we still supposed to be here?
I was wondering the same thing. I think we can leave now, and then we're supposed to meet back up for the 1 o'clock debrief. That's
There's
my
a-
understanding.
I don't have a 1 o'clock debrief.
Who said that?
I just don't have anything on my calendar for that.
I don't have that, Ruth.
Zach sent it out.
Oh. There's Daphne, right?
I accepted it, so. Ruth, are we done? I think that it was my understanding that we're done with this part and then we just hop on the debrief call, right? Or do we stay on this for that? Is that a separate link?
I think it's a separate link, and I think it's just staff.
Yeah.
No, like, participants.
Sorry. And it looks like not everybody's on the debrief, only 12 people. So it's just the people that are going to be doing the town halls. On the town hall teams, I guess, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off pages. I'm just like looking at everything. I gotta get my questions ready for Zach and I got a lot of questions to type out.
All right, so I think we'll sign off now, and then if you're on the 1 o'clock, see you on the 1 o'clock.
All right, bye.
So Ruth, this is Cameron. We're not supposed to be coming back here afterwards. Right? We're not supposed to have participants come back here after.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, if we leave this, so this is the main page, like, so we're in breakout sessions right now. I think we have to leave this one open still, right? Because if there's breakouts still going on, so I think we
Yes, we don't want to end this one.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that was right. Okay.
Okay.
Are you the one hosting this one, Ruth?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave.
Oh, I don't know who's hosting.
I think it's Ian.
Oh, I don't know if that's correct.
Well, he was typing in and it showed up as Families Together.
Yeah, it happened with Daphne too, though. I was wondering if maybe that's just their
They
name.
probably both are hosting.
Okay.
Hi, Nan. You're on mute, Nan.
Oh, bye-bye, guys. So
Bye.
Kim did a great job. Toodaloo.
Bye.